Big cities existed here, long before colonists. Not villages, not camps, but full urban centers with plazas, roads, and pyramids of earth. This wasn't an empty continent waiting to be discovered. It was already crowded with city life. Stay with me. By the end, you'll see how these forgotten metropolises reshaped the map of North America. When we say city here, we don't mean modern skyscrapers. We mean densely organized places, thousands of residents, political centers, ritual plazas, specialized craftsmen, and trade networks stretching hundreds of miles. Think planned neighborhoods, engineered earthworks, and seasonal markets where distant shells, copper, and exotic stones arrived from coasts far away. In short, urban life, complex economies, elites, and public architecture existed across North America long before 1492. Let's begin with Cahokia, near present-day St. Louis. From about 1050 to 1150 CE, Cahokia grew into a metropolis that archaeologists estimate may have held 10 to 20,000 people at its height. The city was organized around a massive central plaza and dominated by Monk's Mound, a terraced earthen pyramid larger at its base than the Great Pyramid of Giza's most public footprint when you compare footprint to local skyline. People built wooden structures on the summit. Elites may have lived and performed rituals there. Surrounding neighborhoods supported craft specialists, potters, flint workers, shell bead makers. Monk's Mound and the plaza were a political stage. Processions, feasts, and decisions that tied the surrounding region to Cahokia's authority. Cahokia also had an instrument of time, wood henge, rings of timber posts used to mark solstices and equinoxes. These alignments reveal a calendar logic woven into public space. Building a wood henge and synchronizing festivals required astronomical observation, social coordination, and the ability to mobilize labor on a schedule. This is not mere architecture, it is social engineering, construction that organizes belief and labor together.
But urban complexity stretches deeper in time. In Louisiana, Poverty Point predates Cahokia by millennia. Radiocarbon dates place its construction more than 3,000 years ago. Here, people shaped concentric ridges, piled earth into organized forms, and gathered seasonally in great numbers. Archaeologists read these ridges as evidence of complex communal planning long before agriculture reached the scale of the Mississippi mound builders. Poverty Point forces us to broaden our timeline and to recognize that large-scale collective projects existed here much earlier than many textbooks suggest. Out west, Chaco Canyon offers another urban model. Between roughly 900 and 1150 CE, ancestral Pueblo people built massive stone great houses, multi-story complexes clustered around plazas and kivas. Chaco is remarkable for roads, long, straight causeways that cut across terrain for miles. These roads weren't conveniences, they were statements, connecting ceremonial centers, aligning outlying communities, and enabling the movement of people and goods on a continental scale. The great houses acted as hubs of ritual, administration, and possibly redistribution, urban behaviors expressed in stone and road. In the southeast, sites like Moundville show political centralization. Earthen mounds arrayed on a river bluff, plazas below, and elite compounds that controlled trade and ceremony. Moundville was connected to a network. Copper from the Great Lakes, marine shell from the Gulf, and mica from mountain veins, all flowed into local elites' hands. A city's power came from its ability to channel specialized crafts and resources to create luxury forms that reinforced rank and authority across the region. Such urban life required surplus. Maize agriculture, intensive, organized, and often supported by irrigation or soil management, produced the food that fed specialists. Surplus enabled artisans to refine pottery, fashion copper ornaments, and produce prestige goods that circulated on long routes. Plazas became marketplaces, performance spaces, and political theaters all at once. In short, agriculture created the possibility, public architecture and ritual created social cohesion, trade created influence. The evidence of these connections is tangible. Gulf shells in Illinois burials, Great Lakes copper hammered into ornaments found hundreds of miles away, and exotic stones moving along invisible routes. These were not one-off curiosities. They appear frequently in burials and elite assemblages, showing regular circuits of exchange. Trade knit regions together and underwrote elite power. Archaeology reads objects as messages. Who controlled them, who gifted them, and who used them to make claims about status. Engineers of the past used local materials and careful observation. They measured and aligned. They planned labor seasons and moved earth deliberately. Woodhenge Chaco alignments and the precise terraces of some mound complexes show applied knowledge, a kind of practical astronomy and civic engineering merged with ideology. To build a mound was to prove you could organize people, an act as much political as it was architectural. Why did some city systems decline? Often it was multiple pressures: drought, shifting trade routes, soil exhaustion, social conflict, or reorganization of power. Then came contact with Europeans, and the devastation of introduced disease, displacement, and sometimes deliberate destruction. Populations collapsed in places, oral history shifted, and many urban centers faded from the living memory of later generations. The archaeology is what remains: layers of soil, charred hearths, and artifacts that scholars must carefully interpret. But these were human places first. Picture a plaza at dawn, smoke rising from communal fires, traders unrolling bundles of shells and copper, elders speaking to children about clan ties, a mother grinds maize on a handstone, a potter finishes a vessel and passes it to a trader bound for a distant town, a leader ascends a mound to address allies before a feast. These images make the past vivid, not abstractions, but lives that shaped landscapes. This matters for how we tell American history. Recognizing Cahokia, Chaco, Poverty Point, Moundville, and other cities means placing indigenous peoples at the center of continental development. As city builders, planners, and long-distance traders. If this surprised you, save the video and share it with someone who learned America started in 1492. Comment maps, and I'll post annotated site maps, excavation photos, and the primary sources used for this episode. Subscribe to explore a day in the life inside one of these cities next, where we'll reconstruct markets, ceremonies, and decisions that shaped an entire continent.